crowded workspace today. I have been creating and making so many things in the last week that each day my desk just gets filled with lots of different things. I'm going to sit Indian style just because that seems comfy. I don't even know if you can see, but it's been really, really busy. I've been doing a lot of different things. I'm Molly, by the way. I may have already said that. If I didn't, or if I did, my short-term memory is terrible. I'm not pregnant, so don't even consider that. Yeah, it's just so busy that I have so much on my mind and things are very easy to be forgotten. So yeah, I have been doing quite a bit of knitting this week. It has been such a joy to find time to get a lot of knitting time in, and it really stinks because one of those things that I have been knitting, or that I have finished knitting actually, I don't even have. So I think that Elodie is one of the children who has had the most hand knit hats in the world. She loses them, they get dirty, she's growing too fast that the hat just gets too small. So I did knit this collared pixie hat right here, which is off the needles. I do have this one to show. So I knit this in my Dale DK base, which is a 100% non-superwash merino. This is my birthday cake colorway. It's just a really beautiful natural merino with little flecks of tons of different colors. And I do have some skeins of that left in the shop. It's so soft and squishy. It's so much fun to knit with, and it blocks beautifully and feels even softer after blocking. So anyway, this is the one that I was knitting on last week, and I did indeed finish it, and I put it on Elodie, and it fit her in a very snug way. Like probably this much of her face was showing, and the cowl fit just perfectly. But I wanted something that could grow with her, and I thought maybe this will fit Ruby. So it is such a stretchy hat. That's one thing that I love about it is, so it has the cowl, and then it has this place for the hat, for the face, and then it just has this little point that sticks up when the child is wearing it, and it is so cute. I've had a lot of people asking me about where I got this pattern. If you go and look at my my project page and just search collared pixie or projects for Elodie, you'll find it. And I think this pattern is written in Dutch. I'm not sure, but someone has notes for an English version. And even if you can't read Dutch and if you can't find the English version, I feel like it was pretty easy to translate. When I started knitting these, there was no English translation, and I just kind of went off of the Dutch pattern. So this one ended up being Ruby's. It fits her. It will probably fit her until she's 2 years old. And it's nice because it is so stretchy that it's not like it's really wide open here. She doesn't have air going into her face. It fits really nicely. Yesterday we went and we had lunch in my work day. Robert and I did. We took Ruby with. I carried her in my baby Bjorn, and she had this on, and by the time we got home, this little piece here was soaking wet because she just had the time of her life nibbling on it. So I think that this thing will probably get blocked 1 billion times every day from Ruby as she wears this little piece. So after that, I thought, okay, this is the most terrible thing, that Elodie picked out this yarn. I told her I was knitting this hat for her, and here it is given to Ruby. So I asked her again, are you sure this is the yarn that you want? You don't want another one? Because I do have this colorway right here. Let's see. It's called Ooh La La, and I thought that she might like that one also. So this is also in the Dale DK and because she loves pink, she loves purple. It's a really girly colorway. And she said, no, I definitely want that really bunt, colorful yarn. So I cast on, and I knit and finished her hat, but she is wearing it today, which stinks. I wanted to keep her home in it. Not her home in it. I wanted to keep the hat home so that I could show it to you guys. But it is really cold here in Berlin. It has been snowy the past week, I think. Maybe 2 weeks. I have no idea. But it's been snowy. It's probably been 2 weeks. And I want her to have a hat that keeps her face, her bottom of her chin, her neck cold, nice and warm. So she has that on today. I am looking to see if there's an error in there. It looked like there was an error for a minute. But anyway, Ruby has one, Elodie has one. They have matching hats. I definitely think I need to take a picture of them from behind, showing it. Somebody asked me if I could take a picture of them in their hats. Since podcasting, I don't really take a lot of front pictures or a lot of pictures of my children in general. Just personal preference. I don't really want them out so much on social media. So I kind of limit that a little bit. One thing about social media that I wanted to mention. So I'm sure a lot of you know, but Alan Rickman died of cancer. And he was very, very young. I believe he was 69 years old, or really young. And it was a really, really sad day for me. It was something that I thought about a lot when I heard the news. I found out through Instagram. I have this colorway that I created called Half-Blood Prince. Snape is the Half-Blood Prince. And I really want to cast some socks or a shawl or a cowl or something on in memory of Alan Rickman, in memory of the Half-Blood Prince, in memory of Snape. Because for me, Alan Rickman really is Snape. I don't think they could have chose someone better to play that part. He just did the most amazingly fantastic job. And so I posted this picture on Instagram of the yarn, and I had been getting a bit of questions asking me, it just said something like, R.I.P. Alan Rickman. I think today is a good day I think I'm in need of casting on a pair of Half-Blood Prince socks, or something like that. I don't remember what it said. And then I had been getting a couple of questions about what yarn that was and where the yarn was from. And so then I decided, because I don't want to answer 5,000 people, adding all the time. So then I just wrote the link. And a lot of people were really offended by that. And people wrote some really mean things that they couldn't believe that I was choosing that day to market my yarn, and what a weird way to do something like that. Which was not my intent at all. And it really honestly shocked me that people thought that I would use something such as Alan Rickman's death to sell my product. I thought that was a pretty sick thought, honestly. And I took that post down. I thought, you know what, before this causes more controversy, it was getting way too much negative comments, and I really couldn't believe it, and I didn't want that on my feed. And so I took it off. But for those of you who saw that post and maybe were a little bit offended, I hope that if you just think about it, I would never do that. So anyway, I am knitting a pair of socks. I'm knitting my blueberry waffle socks, or not my blueberry, it's not my pattern, but I am knitting the blueberry waffle socks pattern, and this is on my Dale base. This is the first time I've knit with this base, and it is so squishy. This is, again, 100% non-superwash merino, and that's all that it is. So this pattern has been so much fun to knit up. I did a ribbing. The pattern is actually written for DK weight yarn with 52 stitches on the needles, and this is something, I don't know if you guys watch Andre Sue Knits. If not, you definitely should. Her podcast is one of my favorite podcasts. It's definitely in my top 3 favorite podcasts. I love it. And her podcast is totally going to a completely different level. I love her little opening. It seems like in every single video she's been doing lately, she has some sort of tutorial or something she wants to show us and help us learn through her podcast. And the way that it is filmed and edited and all of the fun music that she plays, and the quality is fantastic. If you haven't checked it out, I cannot recommend any more that you run over to her channel and have a look, because she's just really lovely, and her podcast is aesthetically very, very pleasing and nice. And she is very informative. She knows a lot about what she's talking about. But anyway, she was talking about sock knitting. And I think she casts 56 stitches on for her socks. And I don't know what size of a needle she uses. I'm using a size 2.5 millimeter needle, and I cast on 56 stitches as well. That's not a really tight fitting sock for me. It's just kind of like a normal sock that I can pull up to my calf and wear comfortably. Sorry, my back is killing me. I've been cutting so much fabric for Cozy Memories kits. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But if you notice me kind of moving around in my chair a little bit, I'm having the most insane backaches. So she talks about how she casts on 56 stitches, and that's what I do. And I think she said that the standard sock count is like, don't quote me on this, but it's somewhere between, I feel like, 68 and 72 or something. And I find that hard to believe, because how can somebody, I don't even know. I cannot imagine adding almost 20 stitches to my needle count. I don't know. But anyway, she was talking about this, and that just really, I was really shocked by this, because I don't think I'm a loose knitter or a tight knitter. My stitches move around easily on the needles, but they're not like falling off if I slide them, and I don't have to like really pull them. So I would say I have kind of a moderate, consistent stitch tension. And so the pattern calls for 52 stitches on DK weight yarn, which for me just blew my mind. Thank you, Shauna, for this cup. And I'm using fingering weight yarn with my, like I said, 2.5 millimeter needles, and it's perfect. You just have to do the pattern in a sequence of 4 stitches. So yeah, 56 works perfectly, and these look so cool. I had seen Danny from Little Bobbin's podcast, who I'm going to visit in 2.5 weeks. I can't wait. We're hoping to podcast together. Hopefully we have a little bit of time for that, but I'm only there for 3 days, so if we don't have time to podcast together, please don't get mad at us. We're just busy, I guess. But I think we can make time for it, because I know a lot of you have been asking. So yeah, I had seen this sock pattern on her podcast many times. So when I cast these on, I toyed with the idea of knitting a Hermione's Everyday Socks, because I thought that would just be kind of cool and fitting with my Half-Blood Prince yarn, or the Blueberry Waffle Socks, and I just decided to choose this. It's not a pattern that really shows off your yarn, but it's fine. If you have yarn that has a bit of You know, I think it actually could work for anything. I feel like Danny knit a pair of socks in just a cream blueberry waffle socks, or maybe I'm wrong. But I like it. I'm excited to wear these. These will be for me. And they kind of remind me of my sweater, actually. So these are housed in the Fawn and the Fox project bag. This bag definitely could hold a lot more than my sock. Don't know if you can see. But I just wanted to use this bag so bad that for something that I'm really working on a lot of the time. But I decided to throw my socks in there because I love this bag. This was one that she custom made for me. And it's beautiful and peachy, and I really, really like it. So the next thing that I worked on and finished were Robert's Simple House slippers. And oh my, are they called Simple House slippers? I don't know. But he loves them. He wears them every day. He's worn them every day since I made them. They now are a matching pair, nice and long. And I need to knit a pair for myself because I feel like our house is so cold. And we don't want to turn up the heat too much just because, you know, then you kind of lose humidity. And it's the season that a lot of people are quite sick. And so I want to make sure that we have that humidity in the air. And if we need to wear an extra layer, yesterday I had a short sleeve shirt on, a pullover on, like a thick pullover, my hand knit featherweight that I knit out of the tweed from Quarry Fiber. I had this sweater on, and then I had my campsite shawl. That's a 50/50 alpaca merino. And I was still freezing. So I definitely need to get a pair of these on the needles for myself. I had mentioned last week that Meredith of the Wool Gathering podcast gave me some red yarn. I wish I would have brought it in here to show you guys because it's really beautiful. And I haven't decided if I'm going to make mine with this same yarn or with the red yarn, but I'm still itching to cast on a sweater. And I don't know if I want to do that in some yarn that I've dyed or in some yarn that I have in my stash. I feel like lately I have just been wanting to knit so much with yarn that I've dyed. It's just such a neat step as a knitter, I feel like. It's wonderful and really exciting to get yarn that other people have dyed. And I love that too, but now that I've started to dye my own yarns, it's just like taking another step into the creative process. And so, you know, I'm choosing breeds and different makers of yarn and then bringing it into my studio, and then I am dyeing it and choosing colors that I want to use and basically creating this yarn masterpiece, and then, you know, taking the next step of knitting with and using it and seeing how to use that. So it's been really, really fun being able to cast a couple of projects on with my yarn, like the 2 hats and like the Half-Blood Prince socks. Is that all that I've knit with it? I know I knit a shawl for one of Elodie's friends with it. I don't know if I've knit anything else. And it has been a lot of fun. So I have some alpaca yarn. I think it's a 50/50 alpaca merino that's in a blue colorway. I have this yarn. All of them are an Aran weight yarn. I could use my DK yarn as well. I could even use fingering, but I don't know. It's kind of something that I've been thinking about a lot, and I really, really want to cast it on. I think what's kind of holding me back is that I feel like I have so many projects on the needles, but I don't even know if I do. I need to go through all of my project bags and take out what I'm not working on, what I don't care about anymore, and just be working on projects that I'm really interested in. I can't believe that I don't have a shawl on the needles right now. I don't even know why I don't. I think it's because I have this shawl design that I've been working on for ages that I want to get off of my needles. And I was working on Robert's shawl over Christmas, and now I'm thinking about casting on another Stephen West shawl. So we will see if I indeed do that. But I would really like to have another shawl on the needles. For me, I guess I just kind of feel like, how many shawls can you have? And I guess you can have a lot. But I think the next thing that I cast on needs to be a pullover. I don't want to wear a cardigan. I don't want to knit an open-pieced garment. I really would like to knit a pullover. So I'm pretty sure it will be a simple one. I've even toyed with the idea of designing it, not, to put out there, but just kind of designing my sweater for me to wear, because I feel like I have a good idea of the way that a sweater needs to be knit, but it's definitely not something that I want to design and put out for purchase or for you guys. So maybe I'll just kind of design a little sweater for myself. I think that's maybe what I'll do, but we'll see. I could change my mind many, many times. So those are finished. I'm sure I will get a pair of those on the needles for myself this week. I would really, really like to. So the next thing that I worked a little bit on, and I worked on this one evening because, like I said, it's freezing. It's cold in our flat, and it's cold outside. So I wanted to have something even warmer. So I knit one square right here. I got this yarn from Sarah of Love Sock Wool. I'm pretty sure that this is a woolen vine yarn from Kristen. What yarn it is, I have no idea. But I really like it. It's really, really pretty. And I'm guessing it is because it's gold stellina. So there is that one, and it's beautiful. It was fun to knit up. And I ended up just knitting one square, like I said, because I just got so into my blueberry waffle socks. So yeah, I have been getting a lot of fun knitting in this week. Like I said, I would love to cast on a pair of Simple House flats, Simple House slippers, whatever they're called, sometime this week. I would love to knit a little bit more on everything really. And I want to cast on a sweater, so it would be really nice if I could be able to get a lot of those projects off of my needles that I'm not working on. And maybe there aren't even that many things. I have the feeling that there aren't that many things, because I can't even think about what I would maybe have on the needles that I haven't really been working on. But I think it could surprise me what I have on the needles, because I have a little box filled with project bags that have things on the needles. I have some design ideas that I've been throwing around that I really want to put out there. It's just, for me, it's really hard to sit down at the computer and work on a design when I could be dyeing yarn, could be sewing, because excuse me, I put out these Cozy Memories kits last Friday along with some Valentine's kits, and those completely sold out. I put up 21 of them plus a pre-order, and they were gone literally in the snap of a finger. I had heard that people were refreshing all day. People were getting, honestly, almost angry that they weren't able to get one. So then I put up a major spot of pre-orders. This is my entire stack of pre-orders. So I have the fronts all done. They have interfacing on them. Today I'm going to do the top stitching and labels on all of them. And these pre-orders, I thought that I would never sew totes again. I have to laugh at it, because I remember last podcast I showed the totes that I made, and I said, I cannot see that I will make these again. They were so much work. With the outside contrasting fabric, lining, interfacing, inside lined pockets, with binding on the pockets. It was just a lot of work. and winding all the mini skeins. It's mini skein winding I love. It is, for me, quite meditative. It's really fun, but I didn't know if I would do them again. And I had posted this post on Instagram, and everyone was just really, really wanting a Cozy Memories blanket, that I went ahead and I put out a lot of pre-order slots. A lot. So those are all gone. They went right away. As soon as I finish these bags, maybe, we'll see. I might take a little break from Cozy Memories kits for a week or two. And then I will go ahead and list pre-orders again, because I don't want to make kits when people don't want them, really. So I think the Cozy Memories kits will kind of just be a pre-order basis. And I won't be doing that through email anymore. I won't be taking emails for pre-orders, just because I think that's unfair. I think it has to be a first come, first serve basis. I think I'll do it kind of in the afternoon here, Berlin time, so that people in America are waking up, and it kind of works pretty well, I think. So I definitely have my work cut out for me. I've been dyeing lots of yarn, kind of in between. I've been putting together a lot of orders, having a lot of fun. So a new colorway that I dyed up is this one. I am obsessed with it. I think it is beautiful. I really, really love it. So pretty. And I'm excited to offer that in the shop. I dyed a lot of that colorway. So that will go up in the shop tomorrow. This colorway will. That's not how it will be wound. My Mermaid of the Black Lake, there's a ton of that in the shop. My shop is getting pretty scarce right now, I'm realizing. Probably because I'm so busy with Cozy Memories kits. But I have been dyeing up a lot of tonals, and I really, really love those. So, well, here I have some unicorn. Guess I should leave down. Here I have some unicorn's tail. This is some more half-blood prints that needs to be reskeined. I have a lot of new tonal colorways that I've dyed. So I dyed this one, which is Fig. It's a really pretty purple. And then I dyed Fog, and this is just a beautiful tonal gray. And there are a lot more of those sorts of ones in the shop. I have been busy winding loads and loads of minis, just having fun. I have some dye on the pots right now. I'm about to dye a couple more skeins today. So like I said, today I'm going to finish up with sewing on my labels, doing all the top stitching on all of those bags, and then I'm going to finish up the yarn. And that's it. So that will take up a lot of time because my work day is almost over. We had a really, really nice weekend. We went swimming, which is so much fun. It's one of Adodi's favorite things to do on the weekend. She loves to go swimming or to go to the puppet theater. And it's always fun. It was really hilarious because there was a child who pooped all over one of the pools. So they had to put tape around it, and they closed off the pool for, I think, 2 hours. But yeah, it was nice. We didn't spend too much time outside just because Adodi is not really a fan of putting her snowsuit and all of that stuff on. It will honestly sometimes stop her from going outside, which I just think is weird. Maybe it's because she's outside so much at Kita that when she comes home, she just really wants to play and have fun and be inside, I guess. But this weekend we'll go to the puppet theater, we'll go swimming again. I can't wait. I know it will be really nice. I know Adodi will be excited. We talked about it this morning a bit. I asked her what she wanted to do, and she said that she wanted me to decide because I always decide something fun, so that was really nice to hear. Adodi has been really learning her numbers. She knows what 1 through 10 looks like. I don't even know why I'm talking about this, but it's just something that we're doing in the evenings. We're playing this counting book that I talked about last episode, and she loves it. It's really fun to watch your kid learn and to recognize numbers and letters, and yeah, it's just a nice proud parent moment. So I'm hoping to get Elodie to work on her embroidery. Wouldn't it be so much fun to have her on the podcast? I wouldn't do that until she's older, just because, like what I talked about earlier, about, you know, her being really little. I probably wouldn't even do it until she was like 12 or something. But yeah, so I've had a really, really, really nice week. I'm really looking forward to visiting Danny from Little Bobbin's podcast, one you definitely should check out as well, in my top 3. And yeah, I can't wait to see you guys next week. I hope that you have had a wonderful time knitting, a wonderful time hopefully relaxing, and I will see you hopefully next Wednesday.